Scott with Signal Systems.
All right.
My name's Scott with Signal Systems, and I'm doing fire training on the panel at Avalon. Each panel has a key. All the keys, this one don't, but all the keys work on the same pull stations, power supplies, same keys for everything that has to do with the fire alarm. So if you have a fire on the system, it'll show up on the display up here. Like for example, this is just showing the supervisory. So you push the down key to get a location of where it's at. It's saying first floor dry system, stair 7. So anytime there's a problem or a fire alarm or anything, it'll show right up on the display. So you want to go to that location, make sure everything's fine, everything's clear, and if everything's okay, you should be able to hit reset, and the system will reset. And if it's a pull station that went into alarm, you have to open up the door with one of those keys and flip the switch up to normal, and then you just close it back and come back to your panel or one of your annunciators and reset the system. If there's a trouble, it won't reset until that trouble is fixed. Like this is a supervisory, which means one of the tamper switches to the sprinkler system is closed. And you also got other things like your heat trace modules. That's if the temperature or the breaker gets turned off. What those are doing is keeping all your sprinkler pipes warm during cold weathers. So if that's turned off, it's not going to keep them warm, and they could freeze. So that's another supervisory to look out for on the panel. That way we can come out here and make sure we get power on them. Once it's reset, well, when it goes in the fire, obviously the fire department will come out too, and they should already know exactly where the location goes, because that's how it gets dialed out to the dispatch. Let's see. It's really the only things to look out for is if there's an alarm trouble or supervisory on there. I'll write the number up here for the central station in case you guys ever have to put it in test for anything. We'll get it written in every panel. You just dial the number, and they'll ask for an account number and a password, which you guys, if you don't have it already, they'll make sure you guys have a password to put it on test. Because sometimes when the sprinkler company comes, they'll need to put it on test so they don't call the fire department when they're filling up the pipes or draining the pipes. You don't need any code to do anything on here either. It's just silence, reset, acknowledge. Pretty much simple stuff. Any questions for me?
Where's the, does it have a remote dialer, or is it hardwired to dial out?
It's hardwired to dial out.
Okay, so this has a phone number that's recognized by dispatch.
They have 2 phone lines. It has a backup line in case one of them's down. It'll call on the other one.
Will it recognize that phone line's not operative?
Yes, it will. It does a 24-hour test, and if it doesn't dial out on one of those, it sends a trouble signal that there's an account trouble, phone line trouble. If it don't detect the voltage for a phone line, it will notice that pretty quick.
Okay, and this is the same panel that's in 1 through 4,000, correct?
Yeah, same exact panel. It's the IFP 2000.
Okay.
1 through 4 has the same panels, and each building has a fire panel in them, and the electric room on the 2nd floor.
Does it have a battery backup?
Yes. I got 2 batteries down here, and that might be some other trouble you get in the future. Whenever one of those goes low, it'll say battery trouble, and you just have to replace those. Usually they're probably good for a year, but they'll catch them, on the annual inspections. They do battery tests and make sure everything's, but every now and then they do go low and cause a trouble.
And who's the monitoring company?
That is Blue Ridge, is the monitoring company we use. So, like I said, I'll write that number and the account number on there.
What type of sensors or devices are sensed on these systems?
We got smoke detectors. There's a guy out there working on our system too right now. But we got smoke detectors by all the fire doors, above the elevators, in all the electric rooms. We got pull stations by every exit. We got strobes throughout the hallways, strobes in the ADA rooms, and we have mini horns in the regular apartments. So everybody will be alerted if there's a fire going throughout the building.
Are there any duct detectors anywhere?
There are duct detectors on the retail levels in their ducts. So whenever those go off, I think they're set as supervisories on those, so they won't go into alarm, they'll go in trouble. And if they were to go into alarm in one of their units, it'll notify just that unit, unless there's a sprinkler fire going. If the sprinkler goes off, it'll alert everybody.
What types of devices are on the sprinkler system?
We got monitor modules. They're just mounted right next to where they got the flows and the tampers, so that when the water's flowing through the sprinkler system, it flips a switch and it just lets our panel through that monitor know.
Is it similar to that box on the wall up there above the panel?
Yeah, they'll have covers on there just like that.
So as long as it's flashing, it's good?
Yeah, if it's just flashing red or green, it's good, but if it's solid, that means that's the one that went to alarm or there's a trouble with it.
All right. And there's annunciator panels where?
Right, there's annunciators in the common halls on the first floor in 3000 and 4000, and then there's annunciators by the elevator on 1000 and 2000.
And security
And
office?
the security office, exactly.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.